Autism Mom and Life Coach, and I am here to just do open coaching tonight. I don't think I've ever done this before. This might be my first time doing this. So welcome. If this is your first time coming to any of my webinars, you're in for a real treat because I'm going to do lots of coaching tonight. So usually I have a topic. I'm going live in Instagram and Facebook right next to it. So hi everybody on Instagram. Hi everybody on Zoom. Right now I am hosting a live Zoom open coaching call. And usually when I do these, I'm actually teaching on something. But today, for the first time, what I'm going to be doing is I'm actually going to be coaching as many people as I can tonight on any questions you want to bring to me. So if you want to talk about potty training, let's talk about it. You want to talk about communication, let's talk about it. You want to talk about problem behaviors, let's do that too. So any questions that you have, what you're going to do is you're going to raise your hand. I already see the first person that raised their hand. If you want to be coached live tonight, you want to raise your hand. I'm going to coach as many of you as possible. If you are shy, you can put your question in the Q&A. I'm going to answer those in between bringing people up to talk. And I guess without further ado, let's get into it. Oh, one last thing. We shut chat off because I get super distracted. In fact, I got to figure out a way to shut the Instagram off because that's going to throw me off too. If you have any questions for me or comments, you just put them in the Q&A. In the meantime, if you're shy and you don't want to raise your hand, no problem, put it in the Q&A. And Jen is here. She is my assistant, my right hand. I couldn't do anything without her. She's going to help. If you have any technical issues, you can also put it in the Q&A. Okay, so without further ado, let me share my screen. And we're going to share this screen. And here we go. All right, you can see my screen, yes?
Yes.
Okay. And it's Ask Michelle Anything night. So let's go. Let's have some fun tonight. All righty. And you guys on Instagram, if you want to join us, the link to join us, Jen, go put in the comments in Instagram when you get a second. She'll give you the link to join us if you want to come in and actually ask a question. If you want to type it into the Instagram comments, I'll go back later and answer them. Okay, so my name is Michelle. I am a autism mom and life coach. So if you also have a child on the spectrum, you are in the right place. If you're struggling to teach your child any important life skills, this is my jam. This is what we do all day long here. I run a program called the Champions for Our Children Masterclass, and we solve and we come together weekly to coach parents specifically on how to get these life skills taught to their babies. So that's me. And then my daughter, I have a daughter, Juliana. She was diagnosed on spectrum when she was 2. She went from nonverbal. She actually had language and lost it. She went from nonverbal to sign language. She potty trained with the sign. This was a sign for potty training, to creating sounds, word approximations, to speaking. She went from the most intensive special education preschool to where she is today. She's a thriving, happy, chatty 10-year-old who finished her first year in a general education classroom. So I'm very excited for her. She's headed into 5th grade. And this is what's possible for you guys. I didn't know what was going to be possible for Juliana, but I really just kind of took the bull by the horns. I'm going to share our story with you guys tonight, and then we're going to hop right in to help answer any questions that you guys have today. So let's get cracking on that. And this is me. All right, so the agenda tonight, we're going to talk about why you might be here. I'm going to share with you our story, the big 3. We're going to talk about the 3 life skills I believe every child needs to have a chance at a life of independence. We're going to coach. So let's coach. We're going to hop right into coaching after we talk about that. Then I'm going to tell you about the Champions for Our Children Masterclass. I'm doing this awesome bonus tonight I've never done before. So I'm really excited to share that with you. And then we're going to do Wheel of Names. We're going to do, as long as you stay until Wheel of Names, we are going to be doing an offer where you are going to get to win a free private session with me. So I hope you stay around for that. And then I'm going to coach some more, and then we're going to wrap. So let's get to it. All right, so you might be here because you want to hear your child start to communicate with you. You might be here because you want your child to be as independent as possible. You want your child to have friends and engage with other children. You want communication to click with your child when it comes to speech. You want to stop worrying about what their future will look like if they don't communicate. You want some reassurance for yourself as their parent. You want to stop feeling like every bad thing in the world is going to happen to them. You want to stop feeling like you can't live your life because of autism. So we created this video, and it just basically shares my story with you. And if you haven't seen it, I want to share it with you right now. I remember when I got pregnant with my daughter, I felt so grateful and so blessed. My life up until that point had been
pretty rocky. I'd had a lot of bumps and bruises along the way, and I finally thought that I was turning a corner and God was blessing me with this beautiful gift of a child. And I just, yes, finally something was going my way. And then when she was born, she was just absolutely perfect. I had all of these dreams and expectations for her. I thought of all the things that I thought she was going to do. Yeah, good girl. Right after her first birthday, I started to notice her behavior changes. She went from, saying Matt. She was obsessed with Dora the Explorer, Mama, Dada. She was saying it all. Good girl, saying Matt. Hit all of her milestones up to that point. She walked at 1. She was eating solid. She just, she looked really good. And then I just remember her, it felt almost overnight or very quickly where her demeanor just changed. She went from this super happy baby to crying and tantruming, just frustrated all the time. I remember saying to my mom one day during one of these tantrums, like, where did my happy baby go? But I didn't think anything past it. I think I was kind of not ready to fathom that something could be off, even though maybe the telltale signs were there. Just got a good shot. She started to lose the words that she had named. She wasn't saying mama anymore. She wasn't saying that. She just seemed really disconnected from us. Instead of playing with her toys, she would take them, dump them all out of her toy box, and just start twisting them around her hands aimlessly with no intended purpose. Really kind of in denial about it. And then I remember one day we were in the middle of the store, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, she just started screaming and yelling like somebody had slapped her. I don't even know what the problem was. And I was so mortified. I didn't even know what to do. I was so scared. I literally just left the half full cart in the store, picked her up, and just ran out of there. Never went to that store again. I just didn't even know what to think. And that was probably the first time it really kind of stung for me that maybe something is wrong. They diagnosed her. They didn't diagnose her right away. They said that she was too young for a diagnosis. I didn't even know what they meant when they said that. I was like, diagnosed with what? I just had no idea what they were talking about. And then they said, we'll come back in if you're not seeing progress. And I said, okay, And a couple months later, I'm watching these speech therapists play with her on the floor. I'm not seeing any progress and felt like she was getting a little worse. And then we went for our 2-year-old wellness visit. And the doctor said that she was behind if she wasn't using 20 words with intent. And that was probably just a knife to my heart at that point. I really couldn't deny that something was up with her anymore. So then I called the county back in, and she was diagnosed on the spectrum. And I remember that day, and it was worst days of my life. It was my darkest hour. I could easily say that as a mother, as a woman, as just a human being, it was probably one of the hardest times I had ever gone through. And I remember just being so happy with God, so thankful to be so pissed at him for doing this to her and wrecking this beautiful gift he had given me. And for a while there, I struggled. I struggled to figure out what this meant or what we were going to do or how this was going to define her. All those dreams I had for her future were just completely shattered. And I had no idea what was going to happen next. And I went from just hopeful to just complete blank when I thought about the future. One night I was thinking, I'm going to die one day, and who's going to care for her one day? And something about that thought just snapped me out of my depression and my anger and my fear and said, listen, we got to get to work here. I promised that when she was born, I was going to be the best mother I could be to her. And that promise hasn't changed. In fact, she needs me more now than ever, not less. She needs me now more than ever. And I didn't know at the time what we were capable of or what having those changes, that mindset shift for me was going to do. But I wanted to know that at the end of every night, I could look myself in the mirror with confidence and say, you know, did you do everything you could, Michelle, to give her the best possible life? And if the answer was yes, then that was a good day. And I wanted the answer to be yes, 100%. And no matter where the cards fell, I know I could leave this earth saying I gave her everything I had, no regrets. And as I've navigated this world with her and walked away that day after having that thought, I really just grabbed the bull by the horns. I became her fiercest advocate. I'm not a special education master's degree teacher. I don't know I never had any formal training in APA, but I knew that I was going to learn whatever I needed to learn to be really strong for her. And Juliana lost all of her language. Cheerios? Cheerios? The one Cheerios. Okay. She was nonverbal when she was diagnosed. She was what? Okay. What's it? We taught her sign language. Show me. Juliana, show me. Good girl. Then she went from sign language to word approximations. Then she started to speak. She went from the most restricted preschool environment. She was in 614, most restricted preschool, special education preschool environment you could be in. Now where she is almost 8 years old. She's in the second grade class in a gen ed school, integrated class with typical peers. She speaks beautifully now. What did you like about the troll experience? She has a personality. She has conversation skills. There's still things that we need to work on, but for the most part, her future went from black to now having possibilities. And none of that could have happened had I not kind of gotten out of my own way and really hit the ground running and started to take action for her. And I can't say that I could do that for every parent I coach, but what I can tell them is I will have them feeling like I did, looking at myself in the mirror, you looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, I was everything I could be for her today. I have no regrets. And whatever happens, it happens. It's really for us as parents to know we fulfilled the duty that we promised when we had these children, which was to be the best versions of ourselves, to live, to raise these children. I've helped now hundreds of mothers, coach them one-on-one to do the same things I did, to help them to be strong, to help them to craft plans where we're seeing constant progress. This is what I want to do. I want to give you the chance that Juliana's had. I want to give you every opportunity with your child that has.
Happy birthday, love you.
Amazing. Okay. Hold on 1 second here. Just putting my phone on. 1 second here. Phone on silent. Okay. Oh, I messed up my phone here. Bear with me here because we're trying to have everybody look at what we're doing here. I'm going to put this back on me. Perfect. Okay. So that is our story in a nutshell. And one of the things I want to really share with you guys tonight is that to get the outcome that we had for Juliana, I was laser focused on 3 very specific skills. So if you have a child that's been diagnosed on the autism spectrum, no matter where they land, I believe if they get these 3 skills, the chances of them living an independent life increase dramatically. And the first skill they need, and I call it the Autism Mommy's Big Three. It's the three skills that every child on the autism spectrum needs to have a chance at a life of independence. And the first one is potty training. The second one is problem behaviors at 0 or close to 0 so they can sit and attend and learn in school. And the third one is communication skills. If we can establish these foundational skills for our babies, their chances of an independent life increase greatly. And isn't that what we all want for our children? No matter where they fall on the spectrum, I've seen this really come true for a lot of families, including my own daughter, including Armando, who's in our program as one of our teachers. We're going to talk about him a little bit later tonight. But I just want you to understand, listen, I look at the autism diagnosis at that time, and I thought of it more of like, I thought it was a death sentence, and I thought that her life was over. I thought my life was over. The only thing I knew about autism at that point was Rain Man, and that didn't sound good. And, I just didn't know what to think. But by that point in my life, and we're going to talk a little bit about this tonight, I'm sure in the coaching, is that I believed of myself that I'm this master problem solver. I can solve for anything. And if I believe this about myself, then I believe this about myself in a way that throughout my life, I've been able to problem solve for many, many hardships. And because I believe that about myself, when the autism diagnosis came, I still had this feeling of I don't know if I can do this. I don't know anything about autism. I don't know shit about special education, shit about behavioral therapy, but I had problem solved so much in my life until that point that I believed I could problem solve for this. And that's exactly the energy that I went into with this. And I think a lot of families, a lot of parents, when this happens, they never get out of the grief of it. And I'm not talking a death. It's not a death of the child. It's the death of the neurotypical childhood experience we thought we were going to have. And it needs to be honored, and that those emotions need to be processed so we can get to the 5th stage of grief, which is acceptance, meaning listen, acceptance for me was not sexy. It's not about loving that part of this, right? It's not all right. It's not okay. It's not fair. This doesn't make any sense, but it's what is. And when I get to acceptance, I believe there's a 6th stage to grief that nobody ever talks about, which is creation. What can I create with what is? And that's what I want to help you guys with the most tonight with coaching. So if you want to be coached, this is what it's going to be. You're going to raise your hand. There's a little raise hand emoji on the bottom here. You're going to raise your hand, and you're going to ask to be coached. You're going to come online. That means your screen's going to flash. You're going to come up as a panelist. I want you to unmute yourself. I want you to be in a quiet place where we can have a conversation. Everyone can benefit from this, okay? All right, so we will start with Misty. Let's go. While she comes up, how do I get past potty phobias? This is one of the questions that just came in the Q&A. For potty phobia, we have to look at, listen, I know we're desperate, a lot of us, to potty train our kids. We have to get them willing to sit first. So what I do is I look at the whole potty, what it takes to have a successful potty trip, and I break it down into bite-sized digestible chunks for me and the child. So if I have a child that has straight up potty phobia, I got to understand where does that potty phobia start? Is it literally just looking at underwear? I had a child where we literally had to get her neutral just to the sight of training underwear. Is it walking into the bathroom? Is it the sitting? And then we work on that. We start that as our baseline, and we work our way up with it. And how we do it is we start to create a process where basically I want to reward the child for interacting with wherever her baseline or his baseline is. So let's say this particular person who asked this question, let's say her child won't even sit on the potty, but he'll go in the bathroom, he'll turn the light on, he just won't sit. So what I do is I say, okay, parent, I want you to baseline how willing are they able to sit, how long? And I want you to take your phone, which I don't have because I have it up on the screen there, and start the stopwatch on it. And if you have them sit down, they pop back up in 5 or 10 seconds, then that's your baseline. And then what I do is I say, okay, 5 seconds is the baseline. Then I'm going to think of a reward, something worth the ask. I always say it needs to be 10 times the ask. So what are we asking here? We're asking the child to sit. That's not hard, right? Because they sit on a chair, they may sit on their bed, they sit outside. We're just asking them to sit on the potty, not eliminate, just sit. And I give them a little something for it. Could be a couple M&Ms, gummy bears. It could be a piggyback ride, balloons, bubbles, whatever it takes. And I keep running that program and keep increasing the time gradually, like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, until I get it up to about 3 to 5 minutes, enough for a pee or poop to happen. Okay, Misty, you're up. Are you excited?
Kind of weird, but yes.
Okay.
He's right here.
All right, no worries. Tell me what I can help you with today.
My main concern is he likes to run out of the house at 6 in the morning. We've had
Yeah.
the police literally bring him back because we're sleeping. So our thing is, how do we keep him from running away? He's 5.
Okay, no worries. So first thing we want to understand is the running out of the house. What have you tried to stop him from doing it?
We have door locks, chain with a key lock. We have window locks. We have alarms. So he hasn't done it in a while, but we've learned that he tried climbing out the window right next to my desk, which is actually a 6-foot drop, but he hasn't achieved it yet. Until he achieved it, we caught him. So our main thing is
it locked too?
Yeah, now they're all locked, but he's now trying to run out of school. He doesn't want to be he doesn't want to be inside all the time. Sorry, I'm trying to get it more focused on me because my boyfriend's in the back playing video games.
That's okay. So the first thing we want to work on here is we want to look at like safety first, right? So the first thing that she needs to do is make sure that his environment that he spends the most time in, which is his home, is safe. So that's going to be your first thing, is we have to make sure that the doors are, he can't access them from the outside, the windows are inaccessible, and you've done that now. So now he's not really, he can't get out anymore, correct?
Yeah, we've done it with the fridge, the bathroom, because he was playing in the bathroom.
Yeah,
so,
got it.
We have potty time for him. So
got it. So yeah,
so
so
he still wants to run. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah. That's fine. The first thing we have to do is create safety in a unsafe environment. So that's the same thing we'd obviously want to be talking to school as to what protocols they put in place to also create safety, so he's not trying to escape at school. That's number one. Okay.
They have that.
So that's the message that needs to be conveyed. All right. Number 2 is now we want to understand the function of the behavior. So I have to understand why he's running, so I can create the solve. And when we're dealing with any problem behaviors, there's a thing in behavioral therapy called the MEETS. And that means that it's an acronym for the functions of why a child might have a problem behavior like running. So the first one is for MEETS, it's M is for medical, meaning like they're in pain and they're running because they're in pain. The second one is escape and avoidance. They're trying to get out of doing maybe a non-preferred activity. The third one is A for attention-seeking behavior. They're looking to get attention with this. It's like a game. T is for they want a tangible, either access to a person or a thing or an experience. And S is sensory. So that means that they're doing it because it feels good. So when we think about his desire to run off, this is the other thing too. With a problem behavior, whether it's a tantruming or it's a child who elopes, we need to understand the cause of it for us to create the solve. And once we can understand that, we don't want to just box it in and say every time he runs off, it's for attention-seeking behavior, because that's his form of communication. Is he pre-verbal?
Now he is. All right. There's still some, you know what I mean?
So he's not using his voice to communicate, correct?
Now he is, but not. He's half verbal, half.
So he's all right. So he's not consistent. 9 times out of 10, when you're going to see this type of behavior, the behavior is their language. So that's why I need to understand the function of it so I can create the solve. So what I want you to do, instead of lumping all of the opportunities that he's run off into one box, I want you to think about the last time he did it, and knowing MEETS, what would be the function of, like, why did he do it?
Last time he tried running was on the bus. Like
on the bus.
Yeah, they have a harness for him now.
No, I know. So the way we figure this out, and you have to be present for the full experience to be able to figure out the function to create the solve, is you have to know what happened before it. You have to know what the actual behavior was after it. And then you have the actual behavior was, which in this case would be running off the bus, and then see what was the consequence.
The other day he ran out the door. Daddy was outside.
So he's coming off the bus, right?
Yes.
And he's running
down the street towards his dad. His car. But
was his dad outside, or his dad's car was there?
It's his dad's car, but dad was inside.
Okay, so he was looking for his father.
Yes.
See, now you see how this changes it? Because when you started this, like, I need him to stop running away. Like it was a mystery that can't be solved. You see how that, like, the way that
Yes.
breaking it down like this seems more like, this makes sense why he did it.
Okay.
One of the
so
biggest things we do in my program is thought work, because I want to help you guys to understand that a lot of the times we may believe that this is just a problem behavior that's like a mystery that came out of nowhere, that there's no way to solve. But when we ask really pointed questions like this, we start to see what the source is so that we can start creating solves. So in that instance, what would you do the next time he gets off the bus to prevent that behavior?
I would tell him daddy's in the house and daddy's not in the car
So when would you say that?
before he gets off the bus. Like
That's
when
right,
he
right?
sees me.
Come with me, daddy's inside, right?
Yes.
Would it be in that, if visualizing that scenario, do you think it would be less likely he would run down the street?
Yes.
Exactly.
But the one
Go
at
ahead.
6 in the morning when we're sleeping,
Yes, and like I said, you can't like look at it as a overall blanket statement. I need to know how to solve him running off every single time. The function of him getting up at 6 a.m. is different than the function of him running out the bus to go to his father's car. Do you see this difference?
yes.
So, I mean, I want you to brainstorm some of this as well. But one of the reasons that a child might do this is at 6 in the morning, maybe they're up and everybody's asleep and they want to play, right? So if nobody's playing with them and they know a great way to get them to play chase is to run out the door, then I need to understand that they're doing this for attention-seeking behavior, right? And now I've got to figure out a solve. Like what I always say to parents that have children that do inappropriate behaviors for attention-seeking is I say, okay, if you're doing this for attention-seeking behavior, this is telling me that I need to give you more attention when you're doing right. Do you see what I'm saying? Like when he's sitting on the couch and he's not touching the doors and the windows, good job sitting there. Good job doing this, right? I'm going to engage with him more. And if that means I got to get up a little bit earlier in exchange for his safety, or if I got to bring out like some toys that are ready for him as we're all getting up and starting the day, this is what I have to try and test until I get a result that he's doing that less.
Okay. I like that.
That makes sense?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
All right, no problem. You keep me posted, all right?
Thank you. He just ran.
All I see him. All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. Okay, Erin, you are up next. And while Erin is getting ready, I'm going to answer some questions. My 3-year-old is afraid to pee or poop without a diaper on. He holds it all day until the diaper is on at night. He understands that he is peeing in his diaper and says going pee, but after the fact. So if we have a holder, and I think somebody emailed me, and I'm not sure if this is the same person. Somebody emailed me and said they had an 11-year-old that will hold his...
Cute.
Hold on one second, Erin. I'm just going to put you on mute for a second. Okay, perfect. So she would hold his pee until I think she said 24 hours, and then he'd release it in the tub. And this is the same scenario here. This child is holding their pee until a diaper goes on. So then I say to the parent, if I'm coaching them, well, why is a diaper still a part of the equation if we're committing to potty training? And you might be saying, well, I'm afraid that he's going to get an injury, or I'm afraid he's going to get, I don't know, his bladder's going to explode. But listen, he's holding it for all of that long. What's an hour longer, right? What's 2 hours longer? If a child can hold this pee for 24 hours, I'm telling you, I'm like, first off, I'm not a doctor, so anything I tell you, you're going to run by your doctor. But I'm telling you, there's a behavioral reason in these two exact examples as to why your child's not going in the toilet, because you've made it optional to do so. You believe that holding it that long is going to create some type of medical issue, but they're holding it anyway. Do you see what I'm saying? So in this instance, if I have a 3-year-old that's afraid to pee or poop without a diaper and he's waiting for the diaper to go back on, then that's always going to be your scenario until you change the circumstance. In this instance, if he is afraid, if he's truly afraid, and if mom wants to raise her hand, I can coach you more back and forth through it. If he's truly afraid, then we want to work on the phobia first, then we can work on actual elimination. But I'll tell you one thing, if the diaper is always a part of the solution, they will not potty train, because they'll know that, oh, no matter what, if I hold out, she's going to put that diaper back on me. Same thing with the child that waits the 24 hours and then goes in the shower. If I hold out, I know she'll let me go in the shower. So when that happens, we've got to look at like course correction here. I've created a conditioned behavior here that they're holding out. It's almost like playing chicken, like who's going to blink first. And she also had not this mom, but another mom had also mentioned that he'll hold his poop for 3 days. My children do not poop every day. It's quite normal when you potty train that children become constipated. I'm not talking about with the point where like medical interventions are involved and they can't pass anything. That's different. I'm talking about like run-of-the-mill constipation goes hand in hand with potty training. But if I make that feel like an impossible problem and I'm starting to think these thoughts about holding it for so long is really, not healthy, and it's not, I'm not saying it is, but this is like, they're just pushing to the limit of you. And like what's going to happen eventually is nature's going to call and they're going to have to release. And if you're there and you're doing an intensive with your child, then you're going to be able to run them to the bathroom. As long as some pee or poop lands in there, then they get their reward. That's how I do an intensive. But if we have a child that's holding out for that diaper, then we've got to hold out giving them a diaper longer or get rid of it altogether. But if there's phobia involved, we deal with the phobia first. All right, Erin, you're up.
So that was me. He does hold his urine for 24 hours, but he also holds his bowel movements for 3 days.
Okay.
But at most he's held it out I've held out for 10 days and he's held it all 10 days. And by then I gave him like a laxative in his pull-up because that's probably dangerous.
Okay.
And he doesn't have the phobia of the toilet. He will sit for up to 5 minutes before he starts arguing and trying to get up.
So let's talk about the sit to make sure that what I believe is good is you believe is good. Okay. So if you ask him to sit anytime, he'll do it.
Yes.
And
he kind of peeps up about it. He tells you no, but he will sit knowing
so
he has to.
Resistance. Okay. So there's a little resistance. Okay.
Yes.
So tell me exactly what you've tried to actually get him potty trained.
So he's had different ABA therapists try. So we've done ABA therapy where they had him sit on the toilet to get the length on the toilet. They've showed him like potty training apps while he was sitting. And then one therapist did her whole 6-hour session in the bathroom. She actually did that for months, every session for like 6 hours.
How old was he at that time?
He was 6.
6, got it.
And so she would do like her normal like get dressed and like her normal sessions of daily living activities, but then every 20 minutes she'd say, okay, now it's time to sit, and then she would do a potty training and then go back to
whatever she's
doing.
So basically right now, if you take him, he'll sit up to 5 minutes, but there's a little bit of resistance. He doesn't really want to do it.
Right.
When he's sitting, do you have to like make sure that you're watching, otherwise he'll pop back up?
Yeah, you have to be with him.
Okay, got it. And so tell me what happens. So like, let's say you're doing this and you do this like a bunch of times in a day. What ends up happening?
He will sit for the amount of time that you tell him to sit, which is usually about 5 to 10 minutes. And then, but he will never eliminate, and he's never eliminated at all. He's never had one success. When he was 3 years old, he did have one success with an ABA therapist, but she over celebrated and scared him. But from then on, he doesn't have a problem sitting. It's just more the fact that he chooses not to go.
Okay.
And we spent like hours in the bathroom.
All right. So basically you'll go on and off, like maybe every 20 minutes, 30 minutes when you're doing an intensive, 5 minutes on, 30 minutes off. And then finally at the end of the night, or is it the next morning? When does he finally eliminate for the first time?
It's usually at night. It's about 24 hours, like at night or like the next day. And then and I find out that he like pees in the tub, or it'd be like
Oh,
during bath time.
he snuck in the tub and peed, or you let him pee in
Yeah.
there?
No, he snuck in the pee in the tub, and or it'd be like during bath time, and
And he'll just
the
pee
warm
in the
water
tub.
hits him and he just pees.
Got it. And he sits to, you haven't practiced sitting for peeing, or is it sitting for poop and standing for pee?
We've done both. We train him to sit for pee and stand for pee and sit for poop.
The one time he actually went, was he standing or is he sitting?
He was sitting,
Got it.
but he was 3 at that time.
I mean, he never did it again since.
No.
So what do you think the problem is?
At this point he's 11, so I'm not really sure. I mean, I don't know if when he had that success at 3, if her over celebrating scared him, or if he's just really stubborn and prefers to wait for that pull up. And it could be just routine at this point.
So is every day right now you're trying him in underwear up until you put that, like when is a pull-up getting put back on?
Well, my pediatrician told me it wasn't safe. Well, she said after 9 hours, urine can back up to the kidneys. So at that point, she said to give him a pull-up at noon, and then for an hour, and then before bed for an hour.
So when you put
he
it
has
back on after 9 hours, does he pee in it instantly, or does he wait?
generally he waits, and he'll end up peeing in the tub. So he's not really peeing in the pull-up.
Who doesn't even like to pee in his pants?
No, he doesn't have any accidents.
Got it. And what about for poop?
No accidents.
He does that
And-
in the tub too.
No, he does. Oh, he does that in the pull-up, but he waits for like the night pull-up, and
All right,
that's
does that-
it's
Okay.
usually after 3 days, and then he gets medication.
Okay. So every 3 days, if he doesn't go, you give him medication to go.
Yeah.
Do you or not have to give him medication to go?
No, it's usually always medication.
Okay. All right. So here's what I think the issue is. Number one is you don't think he has potty phobia. When I say phobia, we think scared. It's not really scared. It's more of an aversion to going. So that's probably the first problem that we have here, is that we have this assumption that he's fine with going, but every time you ask him, the knee-jerk answer is no, I don't want to do it. So that's number one. So I want to start pairing the bathroom with like wanting to go. Do you see what I'm saying? Like I want it to be paired with like a good thing, not to be like some, right? So that's probably where I would start with him. The second thing here is we got some information from the pediatrician that had us maybe question our technique here. But here's the thing, he's still holding it for 24 hours anyway. So offering a pull-up, and he won't even pee in it, is like, it's interesting. It's not helping the cause. Do you see that?
Right.
So if it's not helping the cause and he's still going to hold it anyway, my thought here is that, we're just kind of not trying, in a sense of like, when I say not trying in the fact of like feeling like this is something that's not solvable, but actually he will go at the 24-hour mark every time. He finally has enough, his bladder's really full, and he's going to run off and do it. What I need to do here is create motivation and desire and an intensive so that I can see this through. You see what I'm saying? And I'd probably, with his situation, I would probably start with pee first, get that on lock, and then we would address the poop. And that would mean that he is not wearing pull-ups anymore. He's dry overnight, right?
Right.
Seems like he's deliberately going right before bed. Yeah,
he'll go like during like tub time, and
got it.
but
Right before bed. Yeah. So here's the thing here. The only reason this hasn't happened is you've kind of like muddied the waters a little bit for yourself, because I feel like you've just kind of like hesitated a bit because you may have heard some information from the pediatrician. You're worried about his health, but this boy is totally capable of doing this. In fact, he's already doing it on his own terms. He's doing it in the tub. And he
Right.
doesn't like to be dirty. There's lots of signs he's totally ready for this. We've created an environment where potty training is just optional. Potty training like you want, it's optional. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah,
So let
that
me
kind of does.
Yeah. So when I think of it that way, and I'm like, shit, he's actually going to be very easy to potty train in the sense of I already kind of have his schedule. And the poop training, here's the thing too, going to the laxative, I wouldn't do that because whenever you take a laxative, it makes your tummy hurt. Next thing you know, you're going in your pants. And if I'm trying to build this life skill here, a habit for him where he hears nature call and he goes and answers the call, which by the way, he already does in the toilet for pee, and he probably does it for the poop too. I want to be able to give him a chance to make it to the bathroom. So there's other ways to kind of make nature call without having to get like to the extreme of a laxative. So here's
Okay.
what I would do. First thing I would do is I'd practice sitting, but like I want to see a sitting where I don't have to hover over him to make sure he does it. I want him to want to do it. When I remember, phobia isn't necessarily just fear. Phobia could also be, I don't ever want to do that. Whenever she asks me to sit, I am not interested. Even though I will sit and I'm grumbling about it, that's a child that does not want to be there. So all they're thinking about is like, let's get the fuck off this. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the first thing I'd want to do with him, if he was my baby and you were my client, I'd say, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to work on sitting first. We're not going to worry about elimination. We're just going to work on sitting, and we're going to make a decision. We're going to either have him stand to pee or sit to pee. I personally would have him sit because he's got to sit to poop. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is get him up to 3 to 5 minutes, enough to repeat or poop to pass, but I want him to want to do it when you ask every time. No resistance. If you feel any type of this, then that means that we're forcing, and I don't want it to feel like I want it to feel like a game to him, like he wants to do it. So I want you to come up with an idea of something that you could use to get him to want to sit. And every time he sits, you're going to set your stopwatch for the first. I'd make the first win an easy win. So let's say I know he'll sit and he's going to grumble, but what I want to say is, guess what, honey? If you sit till this timer goes off, you can set it for 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. I'm going to give you a cookie. I'm going to give you a chip. I'm going to give you something very specific now to the actual thing I'm trying to do. So that way whatever we're using keeps the desire for it keeps high, and he only gets it for that. So whatever you think of, I don't want it to be something really off the charts because I want to use that for elimination.
Okay.
So like thinking like, does he like food? Does he like bubbles? Does he like balloons? What does he like?
He's actually very particular. It's just so he likes bubbles and Skittles, and that's really the only rewards that he's been successful with.
Okay, what else does he do with his time?
He likes to go to the beach and outside time.
He likes outside time. What, outside in the yard?
Playgrounds, beach pools, which are not necessarily like I don't have a pool in my backyard or
Did you get one of those, like, would you like one of those little pools?
not really, because he's really tall and he's a skinny lanky kid, but
Yeah. Would he like one of those like wild sprinklers that kind of like does all the sprinkle of the water in all different directions?
Possibly. It's not high up on his list, but
So what does he do with his day?
Generally it's us going out for walks and we walk down to the beach and playgrounds. When it's during school year, it's he doesn't get home until like 4:30, but leaves at like 9.
Does he ever watch TV, play music, go on an iPad?
Generally it's he wants all my attention. He will go on an iPad or watch TV, but it's very, very short. It's very hard to keep his motivation and attention going because as soon as he gets something, even if it is preferred, it's like maybe like 5 minutes and then he's harping on the next thing to do.
What's the next thing to do though?
So if it's like the beach, he'll go to the beach literally for like 5-10 minutes and then it's like, oh, I want playground, and he just repeats himself every 10 seconds and till he gets what he wants. And
Oh, okay.
so
Like he's got his people trained.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, actually, it's just me. He's
Uh-huh.
he's well behaved with everybody else except for myself. It's
Okay,
so
yeah, that's
he's
interesting. And I hear this a lot,
and
and that's
yeah,
because you kind of give into his bullshit. That's why that happens.
yeah, and I mean, but it's more of I know I do give in often, but like even if I'm saying no, I can say no for like 4 hours, and he's
Why
on
are
a
you,
10
yeah, I
second
know, and
loop.
I want you guys to really understand this. Like, you don't have to say no for 4 hours. You can say it once and walk away.
Right, but then
Right?
he's just grabbing and melting down, and I do let him melt down. It's not like, and I could send
Yeah,
him to
no, and
his
I'm not,
room
and
and
listen, I understand, like, this is very different than maybe you may have thought about this before. I want to address two things. One is the lack of, you think that he has lack of motivation to like things, and then the second is that, well, he's gonna melt down, and I don't really, who wants to deal with that? I understand that, but once that's happened, and then he gets the thing he meltdown for, we just reinforce the behavior. So now I know, especially with her, that if I just bother her and keep whatever, she's going to keep engaging with me, and I'm going to eventually get what I need. And now I've reinforced the behavior, so I'm just going to keep doing this. It meets my needs. I'll just keep doing this over and over and over again until somebody's got to break the cycle, and it has to be you, because he's not going to change. He loves this. Just like he's not going to not want to pee in the shower unless somebody gives him a reason to do it differently.
right.
Does that make sense?
It makes total sense.
All right. So the other thing I want to address here, and then I want you to think about this, is that the belief that there's a lack of motivation for him because there's not many things I can use for rewards. For the Skittles or the Bubbles, I think those are going to be perfect rewards to get him to sit. And you don't have to give him a whole pack of Skittles. You can just give him a couple. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
A couple for each time he sits, and we can grow that time out to 3 to 5 minutes, and then we can start an intensive. Intensive means that when I'm ready to do it, I'm going to be locking us both in a room attached to a bathroom. I'm going to give him lots of salty snacks, lots of drinks. I'm going to run him around the room if I have to, just to get him to drink more. And we're going to start the actual potty training process. But if my brain is presenting to me that there's nothing that motivates my child, then there is nowhere to go. And I want you guys to understand, one of the biggest things I do in my program is mindset work, because if I start believing bullshit thoughts like that, there's nowhere to go. That means there's I can't solve for this problem. As we talked, it went from Bubbles to Skittles to beach, outside, playground, maybe the pool, maybe the sprinkler and the iPad and the TV. And then you might say, well, Michelle, I just don't think he likes any of those things enough, because then he'll just move on to the next thing. The only reason it's like that is because he can always have access to any of it. But if I start withholding access, then the desire naturally increases because I don't get it anytime I want it. She's holding out for peeing. And if I haven't gotten it for a couple of days and now I really want it, right? Because I didn't have that instant access I always had to it, then all of a sudden the desire for it increases.
Okay.
That's why if we're going to use Skittles or Bubbles, then we only use Skittles or Bubbles for when he sits and no other time. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So does this all make sense to you now? Kind of like all ties together?
Right.
He's going to hold it for 24 hours, no matter what the pediatrician says. And I'm not a doctor, going to run everything by your doctor, but then might as well chart when he's going and wait it out. And as soon as he goes into that, like, especially around the time you know he's about to sneak off and do it, don't let him sneak off and do it. Lock the bathroom or make it so that he's got to like tell you, or you're going to see the signs, and then you're going to run him to the bathroom. And even if some of it, let's say he got into the tub and you hear him peeing, you pull him out and put some of it, as long as some of it goes in the toilet, he gets the reward. And the reward that you pick has to be something of super high value. And if you're struggling, you have a bunch of things on here that he has access to all the time, you start withholding a few, and let's see if we can create high desire that way.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It makes total sense.
All right, perfect. Let me know if you have any questions, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, no problem. I'll talk to you soon. All righty, let's do Dana. Hold on 1 second, guys. 1 second. Okay. Sorry, I swear I have a family. I really do. Okay. While Dana is getting ready, Aaron, I'm saying it's glitchy. I'm not sure. Edith was the same person that said that before. If it's glitchy, guys, let me know in the chat. let's see here, Aaron Farrell, I think we just did Aaron, right? Pulling on people's shirts when he's not getting what he wants. Okay, so here's the thing. If you have a child that's engaging in problem behaviors like pulling on your shirt, right, and you don't want him to, you're going to have to redirect the hands. And that's it. There's no communication. There's no eye contact. You redirect the hands once or twice, and then that's it. Then the child gets removed from the environment. We have to teach them that this is not the way to get my attention. And if you do this, there's a consequence. Now, I'm all about positive reinforcement, but sometimes when they're behaving like that, and if you're engaging or giving them whatever it is they need because they're pulling on the shirt, you've just reinforced the behavior. You have to make that disconnect so that, and then remember that if they're trying to do that, if it's a language thing, then we have to teach them some form of communication. So that's not the way that they get our attention. And if they continue to do that, there needs to be a consequence for it, which means they get removed from the room. All right, Dana, you're up. Hi, how are you?
Good. My question is, I can't get my son to tell me when he has to go to the bathroom. We have tried everything. He will go when you take him. But if I miss a time that I get him to the potty, he will go in his pants, and there's really no sign for him. He doesn't show me that he is going potty. He doesn't hide. He doesn't do any of those things. He just goes. And so then we have to, then he's already gone and I can't get him on the potty, but he does not tell me at all. There's no sign. We tried to do sign language. We tried every hour. We've tried every half hour. He'll sit on the toilet. He'll go on the toilet. He has no problem going on the toilet. We just have to catch him before he actually goes.
Got it. Okay. So how old is he?
He's 6.
6. Okay. And how long has he been potty trained for?
We've been trying since he was 3.
So, but if you take him, like, let's say you take him every hour, would you have a 100% success day?
Not necessarily, because he won't tell us when he poops, and he will sometimes not poop until after he gets off the toilet.
So all right. So now that changes things a little bit, right? Because originally when you discussed it with me, it's like, listen, the only problem I got is that if I don't tell him when to go, he's going to have an accident. Now it's like, well, sometimes he chooses not to eliminate in the toilet when it comes to just poop, or pee too sometimes.
Usually just poop.
Okay.
And he'll sometimes go. We have him in a pull-up because we can't ever tell when he's going to go. And so he's in the pull-ups. He's been in the pull-ups since he was 3. But at school, he's really good. They take him, religiously at the same time, and he'll go in the potty at school. He'll have a dry diaper when he comes home. But he will then sometimes not have a dry diaper when he's at home. Like he'll pee whenever he feels like it. And it's hard to get him to even show us any kind of sign that he has to go to the bathroom.
Okay, got it. Does he sit to pee or does he stand?
He sits.
He sits to pee. If you asked him to sit, will he sit?
Yes.
Will he sit where you don't have to like hover over him?
Yes.
Will he sit for 3 to 5 minutes?
I'm sure he sit for 3 minutes. I don't know if I get him the whole 5 minutes.
All right,
but he'll sit there.
All right, so 100% confidence he'll sit for 3 minutes. Like if you set a timer,
Yes.
would he sit for the 3 minutes and then get
Yes.
up when the timer comes? Okay. What's the reward for going?
It can be anything from his iPad to candy. He's a big sweet eater. So
if I keep
M&M's
these one
usually
hand and iPad in the other, which one would he pick?
his iPad.
Got it. All right. Does he get the iPad at other times?
Yes.
All right. So when you got him pee trained, how did you do it?
We just took him all the time, and then it was a consistency thing with school. So I think that helped too, just being at school consistently, that he had an aide that would take him every same time every day. It's the routine for him.
Okay.
But I can't find that routine at home, and I can't get him to tell me. And when we go out places, the routine is.
No, forget it. This is a whole problem.
Yeah.
No, all the things. All right. So here's the thing. So what do you think the problem is? I mean, he knows that you want him to go there. He does it at school. What do you think the problem is? Why isn't he?
Maybe because we're not consistent with him. I don't really know, because he has no aversion to the bathroom. Like he's not fighting us to go into there. He's not, he doesn't get scared when he's in there. He's not, you know, like jumping off the toilet. I don't know. And I've been trying to figure it out so that I could get him, because, you know, he's at an age now where like a lot of things we do, we need him potty trained.
Yeah, no, I bet. Okay. Now, this is what I think the problem is. Really simple, which is great because then we can solve for it, right?
Mhm.
It's optional toilet in your house. That's it. Because he has a
Okay.
pull-up, right? And this is the thing. I've
Mhm.
created this environment because if I continue to put a pull-up on him, I'm giving him the signal it's okay to piss and shit in this.
Okay.
I've created an environment where, like, if it's optional to potty train, I'm opting not to, because I can
Okay.
still do it in my pants. I mean, I know they like me to do that, and then they have me sit and everything, and I'll just do what they say. But like, I really don't even see the value in learning to do this.
Okay.
Now, why
Is-
is doing it at school in the pull-up is really interesting, and not doing it in the pull-up is really interesting. I'd be asking a lot of questions around that. If I had to guess, one of the biggest motivators for children to do a skill like this is a proximal praise. So if they if they peer pressure and a proximal praise, if the other peers are doing it, so then I do it too. You see what
Yeah.
I'm saying? But like,
Yeah.
if none of that is at home, and you know what happens when he pees and poops his diaper? What happens?
Nothing. I mean,
Who's
we tell
cleaning
him
it?
to stop and we tell him
Oh, you
to
tell him to
behave,
stop
and,
and
you
you're
know.
cleaning it up. Oh, I love it. I want to live at your house. That's hysterical. I want to live over there too. I don't have to use the toilet. She's going to clean up right after me. I get
Yeah.
unlimited use of my favorite thing, and I don't even have to earn it. I can use it whenever I want,
Yeah.
which means that iPad, if anyone wants to know, I love an iPad addicted child. I love them because they will do anything for access to it,
Yeah.
including and pooping on the potty. You have this wonderful tool at your fingertips, and you're giving all the power away by allowing him to have it like it's a right instead of a privilege.
Right.
Do you see that?
Okay. Yeah, I do.
What I would do if you were my client, this is what I would do. This is hysterical. Number one is I would throw away the fucking pull-ups. He doesn't need them for school. He just needs it for home, which is hysterical. It's usually the other way around. He obviously doesn't need them anymore. I would start to think about the reward system for going. And if I really want to nail this, and I want to nail this hard and fast, I'm going to go for the throat, which is the electronic device. Now, I wouldn't say we're going to hang up this call and you're going to rip it out of his hands. That's not how I do it. He goes to bed, and when he wakes up, the thing is gone. And I like it to be gone for like a day or two, because I really want to get desire up when I reintroduce it. And then I'm going to say, guess what? Found your iPad, and when you pee on the potty, you get 5 minutes for pee, and when you poop, you get 30 minutes for poop.
Okay.
And we're going to be really intentional about this. No more diapers. The diaper fairy came and they took all the diapers away. They're only for babies, and you're a big boy now. You're going to go out and get cool underwear. You're going to show him, you're going to let him know, like, there's these, you know, this awesome potty surprise. We're having this potty party. You're going to be like mommy. You're going to be like dad. You're going to be like siblings. You're going to do it like we all do it now. And you're going to have to take him to go at first, but because the desire for the thing that you're going to give as the reward is so high, you're going to nail this up in the ballpark.
Okay.
How's it sound?
Sounds good. It sounds
A
good.
little bit of a loving wake up call.
Yeah.
Stop making it optional in your home. And they will
Okay.
the toilet. All right.
All right. Thank
keep me
you.
posted, Tina. All
Okay.
right.
Thanks.
All right, we're going to get ready to do Wheel of Names for all the folks that have stayed here, but I'm going to share my screen because I want to tell you about working with me. If you love the tough love I give, then I want to invite you to come hang out with me in the masterclass. And I want to talk about this tonight because I'm super excited about it. This is my team on the masterclass. I'm super proud of them. We deliver guaranteed results for whatever it is you come for. So you come for potty training, you leave with a potty trained child. If you come with desperately wanting communication skills for your child, you leave this program with communication skills. And that's what I do every day, all day. This is what the masterclass is about. And I want to invite you to get love like this. It's tough love, but it's all love, because I love your babies like they're mine when you join. And I want to tell you all about it and invite you into the program. So this is Mary. She's one of the first clients I've ever worked with. I've been doing this for almost 3 years now. It's so crazy. Her son was 7 when we first worked together. He was nonverbal and in diapers. And within 2 weeks of us working together, he's fully potty trained. And within a month, he said mama for the first time. And why you might want to join my program is you want to get personalized strategies for exactly where your baby's at. You see how I was talking to these moms? I'm asking them what they tried, What do they love? Why do they think it isn't working? All right, now here's the blueprint. This is what we're going to do to solve for it. If Dana joined the program, she's going to go off and do what I told her. And then each week we build on that progress. So she gets a personalized strategy for what she comes for. When you join my program, one of my best case scenarios, or one of the things I'm most proud about, is that we get a lot of people that come in for potty training. We have not had one child leave without being potty trained. If you're coming to the calls, by the time you leave the program, you will leave with a potty trained child. I'm very proud of that statistic. You'll start to reconnect with your child because communication will finally be in place. We'll teach you how to implement PECS, sign language, or the AAC device. I'll teach you how to get intentional sounds out of your baby. I was just talking to a client about that. Like, it's time now. They can make sounds. They use that PECS, they use that AAC device like a boss. Now it's time to start requiring sound imitation out of them. We're going to teach you step by step how to get there. We're going to teach you the root cause of problem behaviors. First mom I spoke to tonight's got problem behaviors of this child running away. It's their way of communicating. It's a way to get the things that they want. I'm going to teach you how to teach that child to communicate effectively so they're not using problem behaviors to speak to you. When life happens, we're going to help you to get back on track. If a regression happens, we're going to tell you exactly how to handle it. A lot of us in the autism world think regression is death. It is not. It's a part of life. And once we understand why a regression happened, we can create the solve every time. We're going to learn from trial and error rather than quitting on our kids. The only true fail of an autism parent is quitting. And this is what my program is all about. We're tweaking and testing every week until we get what you came for. And we're going to teach you how to build that champion mindset so you no longer have to worry about autism every minute of every day. And you're going to get your independence back too. This is from Kim. She was also a master classer. Her son, when she first found us, her son Easton was 3, and she couldn't get a firm diagnosis. He had very few words, 0 social skills, and he was not potty trained. She found me the same day as her IEP meeting, and that day she felt defeated and overwhelmed that they asked her to list some of Easton's strengths. And she sat there in tears as she struggled to come up with an answer. And she said she couldn't come up with one. And she knew that day she needed to find help, and she felt lucky because she found me. And it's been 2 years since she joined the masterclass, and today she had a meeting with the school regarding his kindergarten placement. He is set to start in a general education class 80% of the time. He is fully potty trained. He has no aggressive behaviors. His speech is blossoming, and he tells me he loves me on a daily basis. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, had I not found you, we would not start thinking outside of like the day-to-day putting out fires and say, wait a minute, if I could find a really structured, step-by-step blueprint to help my child with behaviors as well as teach them life skills in the process, what could happen for their future? What if Michelle is that person? And I believe I am. And she wrote to me at the end of it, you've literally turned our life around. And I can't tell you enough what it means to our family and that you're truly a lifesaver. This is from Teresa. Her son was 10 years old when she joined the program, and he's officially potty trained. She said 2 magical things happened. He watched videos of people opening and eating candy on YouTube. So he got a huge 1-pound peanut butter cup for Christmas, and it was the perfect reward for potty training. He gets a piece of that cup every time he poops on the potty. I'm big on a reward strategy, and that's what she used as the reward. And for going number 2, they implemented a token board system, and his reward was a local hotel stay with a swimming pool. And she said he literally went into the bathroom that moment and took a poop on the toilet. And his teachers were just speechless because they've never seen such a quick turnaround in any of the children they've worked with. And she couldn't tell me how much joy, unspeakable joy she has in her heart right now for all of us. A veil of depression that I didn't know existed was lifted, and I can see and feel more clearly now. This program we put in place is so much more fun and affordable than any of the treatments I've paid for. And finally, this is a letter that Juliana got from her speech language pathologist right before we entered kindergarten. She worked with her for 2 years, and she gave me this card, and she said that Juliana had made more gains and skills than I've ever seen in my 25 years of experience. I identify myself as a master fucking problem solver. I am not formally educated in ABA. I am not a special education teacher. I'm not even from the realm of education. I just love children. I love my children to death, and I love all children. And I believe the children are our legacy. My babies are my legacy. And I want you to feel like that when you're raising your babies. And I know autism was a curveball that none of us signed up for, but it doesn't mean less. It's just different. And I always think about Juliana's brain. I don't even think it's different. I always say it's it operates at a different frequency. And if I can learn to communicate on that frequency, I can teach that brain anything. And that's what the masterclass is all about. I want you to get your power back as a parent to feel like you can teach your baby anything. And that's what we do. And the way the program works is it's a 3-month group coaching program with guaranteed results. And what you get when you join is you'll get, the first part of it is my study vault of courses. You're going to get lifetime access to this. So I have courses in there on potty training, communication, stopping problem behaviors, social skills, a picky eater protocol, mindset training. 95% of the game, everyone, is in the mind. It's not the tactical. You all come to me for tactical, and I love it. You can bring it. One of the things I didn't ask Dana, and I wish I did, was like, why do you think? She said that maybe we haven't been consistent, or maybe he's stubborn. And really the problem is that I allowed potty training to be optional in my home. And the reason I did that is because I believe that the autism diagnosis makes it difficult for him to learn how to potty train. And that's just a thought error. Autism doesn't make anything difficult. It makes things different. It definitely gives you, it makes things different. I would say that more than I would say difficult, because it's not even harder than raising my son. It actually enhanced my ability to raise my son like a boss, because everything was based on behavior. But the real problem with it wasn't the autism. Autism's neutral. It's believing that autism is the problem that can't make this happen. And if I get behind that thought and I keep believing it over and over again, I'm going to be half-assed in potty training. I'm going to dip my toe in the potty pool and not do full submersion. And this is why mindset is such a huge part of my program. I get you to start believing different things about your child, and you show up like the parent you promised you'd be before the diagnosis came. So yes, we have all the different programs. You're going to get lifetime access to all of these courses, and I build them out every month. So even after your time in the program, you still have lifetime access to the study vault. As I build out new material, you'll have access to that as well. And you can deep dive right into it after you join, or you could take your time. And I like to consider my program the Harvard of autism, just the study vault alone. So if you join us today, you're going to get lifetime access to the study vault, but you'll also get what I call the heart of my program. And that's 3 to 4 weekly live group coaching calls just like this. And you're going to learn from the experts. I'm Michelle. I'm the Autism Mom and Life Coach. And you're going to come on my call, and we're going to craft a personalized plan for your baby. Then you're also going to have a BCBA call. And I love this call. It's over 30 plus years of experience. If you don't know what a BCBA is, that's a board certified behavior analyst. It's a teacher with a master's degree in ABA. We have 3 of them. We have Armando, Melissa, and Stacy. They're all fabulous, but I want to give a special shout out to Armando, because Armando, I love having a male teacher in the program, because we have a lot of families with men, with boys that have autism, but also Armando is an adult with autism. He's a BCBA, an adult with autism who didn't speak until the age of 7. He remembers when he was so frustrated, he used to bite himself because he couldn't communicate. He went from life skills classes from kindergarten to 3rd grade to general ed, gifted and talented in 4th grade. Armando speaks beautifully now. He graduated high school. He got his master's. He got married last year. They're looking to buy a house. He owns his own company. This is what's possible for your babies. And you're going to actually be able to talk to him and tap into his brain, because he knows exactly what it feels like for our children. And even though it's a group coaching program, everybody gets their questions answered on these calls. We don't leave without everybody feeling supported. In addition to this, you get our mindset call. So again, I said mindset, this is the gatekeeper to all the progress you desperately want for your child. Think about the first mom I talked to tonight. Her son runs out of the house. And when we got really pointed, when we got really specific, asking questions around it, we realized there's a function to every time he tries to run out of the house. I want you to be able to get out of your own way, get out of your own mental mud about the diagnosis. And that's what the mindset calls are going to do for you. And these calls all happen every week. We build on your progress. There's no way you're not coming and getting what you came for. So in addition to the lifetime access to the study vault, you get the 3 to 4 live group coaching calls. Each week, you're also going to get monthly specialist calls. We have a registered dietitian who's an autism mom, and that's Greer. And we also have a speech language pathologist. That's Jessica. She's in the program as well. And she was a master classer. So she even knows what it's like to go through the program. She advocates for the program. And now she's a teacher in the program. We try to make it so that it's not just people working in this world, it's people who are living this life. You're going to be fully supported. Support is my North Star of my program. So if you join tonight, you're going to get lifetime access to the study vault. You're going to get the 3 to 4 live group coaching calls. You're going to get the monthly specialist calls. In addition to that, you're also going to be a part of our private Facebook community where you're never going to feel alone again. And you're going to post what you need and we check that group daily. Or you can just email me directly. I had a mom email me this morning. I'm having a little bit of a mindset crisis. Please help me through it. You become a part of my family when we start working together. And that's our Facebook group. And so support top shelf. I want everyone to feel like they get what they come for and they feel the help every step of the way. So if you join tonight, I'm all about bonuses. I love bonuses. So if you join tonight, you're going to get everything that's here. Lifetime access to the study vault, 3 to 4 live group coaching calls from experts, monthly specialist calls, private Facebook community. You're going to have access to me, but you're also going to have the action back guarantee. So if after 90 days you don't get the results you came for, you stay until you do, or I give you your money back. So if you come to at least 1 call a week, and if you're coming to 1 call a week, the more calls you come to, the faster you're going to get progress. There's no reason why every child in here who isn't potty trained shouldn't be potty trained within a month. There's no reason for every family here that has a child that's not communicating that they're not communicating more within a month, right? And if you're coming to these calls and you don't get what you came for, you either stay until you do or I'll give you your money back. That's how solid I am in what I offer. And if you join tonight, you're going to get access to the study vault, the 3 to 4 live group coaching calls, the monthly specialist calls, access to me in the Facebook community, email between calls, the action back guarantee, but you're going to get 2 private sessions with me and 2 private sessions with Risa. 2 20-minute sessions with me where we're just going to talk about anything you want to talk about. You want to start creating your blueprint with me right away? You join the program, you email me, say, Michelle, I want to book my first one-on-one with you tonight, or you could save it, whatever you want to do, I'm here for you. You get 2 private sessions if you join the masterclass tonight. In addition to 2 private sessions with me, you're also going to get 2 private sessions with the mindset coach. Mindset is 95% of the game. Risa is a pro. She will help you get unstuck if your thoughts are keeping you in the mental mud. In addition to that, you join tonight, I'm also offering something I've never done before. So as well as getting 2 private sessions with me and 2 private sessions with Risa, I want to become your IEP advocate. So if you've had some resistance with the school, you had some resistance with your home team, and you want somebody to kind of come in and strategize with them or support you as you're trying to advocate for your child, I'm including tonight only, and I've never done this before, so I'm super excited, 2 private sessions where I will either get on your IEP meeting via Zoom, I will get on a Zoom call with you and your team. I'll do it 2 times. If you join the program tonight, I'm going to help you. I did this one time. I had a mother who had 2 private sessions with me when she joined. She said, can I use them for you to talk to my school? And I was like, sure, I could do that. And I'll never forget it. We were strategizing, me and the school, and we were really coming up with some good ideas and things were flowing. And I remember, I'll never forget it. Mom was in the corner and she just burst into tears. And she burst into tears because she started to feel like the weight was being lifted, like she could finally get them to collaborate with her. And I want to help you if you're really struggling with this, if you feel like you're frustrated and you don't know where you stand, you don't know what your rights are at an IEP meeting, you don't know what to ask for at these team meetings, you don't know how to advocate, or you get too emotional. By the way, I cried at most of my IEP meetings, right? I want to be there and hold your hand through this. We're going to strategize before and say, okay, this is what we're going to work on. This is what we're going to be going after. And then we're going to go into that meeting and we're going to work on it together. I want you to feel supported, team at home or at school. So if you join tonight, you're going to get access to the study vault, the live group coaching calls, the private Facebook community, the specialist calls, my action back guarantee. You're going to do 2 private sessions with me, 2 private sessions with Risa. You're going to have 2 sessions with me where I'm going to meet with you in your school. I'm going to be your advocate in your pocketbook. But the bonus number 3, if you join tonight, I'm going to give you 5 months in the program instead of 3. And that averages out to about 70 calls to change your life. So on top of the 4 calls you're going to have with me and Risa, where we're going to just hash it out, just you and I on this phone, you're also going to get these 2 sessions with me speaking to your team or me speaking to the school. I'm going to be the advocate for you. But in addition to that, you're going to be in this program for 5 months. That's over, was it 2, 4, 6, 76 calls to change your life and to the life of your baby. And that's if you join tonight. In addition to all of this, our final bonus of the night to make this so irresistible, I want you guys to take action. I want to help you to help your baby now. If you join the masterclass tonight, we're going to take $500 off, but you have to join by midnight to get access to all of these goodies with these first time ever bonus of me being your IEP specialist. So for tonight only, for everyone who's joined us, the investment into the masterclass is $24.97, or you can do 3 payments of $878 or 4 payments of $660. That averages out to $16 a day, 70 plus calls to change your lives. And all bonuses go away after midnight. You can click on the link in the chat box that Jen's going to provide to join us. If you're thinking, can I afford to spend the money on this? Or this is expensive. I want to understand, what does these thoughts mean to you? I just created a blog post where I was talking about it's not about the money. And one of the reasons I say that is because it's our knee-jerk reaction when something new is presented to us and there's an investment involved to just have the thought it's not about the money. But I want you to think about your identity. And one of the things I think about as a parent is I'm a master problem solver. It was one of the things I started talking to you guys about tonight, right? I can problem solve for anything, even something I have zero experience on. I know I can leave it better than it started. I know this, I feel this about me in my bones. And when I find something like a program like this, and there's an investment, there's always this belief behind, like, do I find the money to do something I believe passionately about? And there could be two rules of thumb when it comes to this. One is that, I only have a certain amount of money in my bank account. I didn't foresee investing in something like this. What do I do? And if this is something that you come up against a lot in your life, I want you to understand, if you want to become a master problem solver for your child's autism, and one of the ways to do that is to invest in a program, and this always comes up as a problem, I want you to learn you have to problem solve for that first. This is like your lesson, what I teach for the mindset part of my program isn't just about teaching your child. I want you to show up in your life, in every aspect of your life, as a master problem solver. How would you figure that out? And if you had, listen, maybe I could afford it, but, I'm paying off the house, or I want to buy the house, or I'm paying off the car, and these are priorities in my life. I want you to also think about this priority as well. I met a mother 2 months ago, or it had to be maybe a month and a half ago, joined the program, and she was hesitant at first because she was debt consolidating. And she really wanted to get out of debt, and then she wanted to focus on this. And I said, okay, one of the biggest goals she had was potty training her son. And I said to her, I'm assuming it costs money for the diapers and wipes. She said, yeah, I know, she already had it down to the dollar amount. And I said, what if joining my program allowed you to pay off the debt faster? And she's like, well, I don't understand how. And one of the things she had revealed to me in our call was that she couldn't work full-time because he couldn't be in a full-time program because he wasn't potty trained. And if he was potty trained, not only was she not going to have to pay for the diapers and wipes anymore, she could work more hours while he was at school and make more money to pay off that debt. I want you to think about it when you say this, when your brain presents this to you, because it's going to present you like, don't fucking do this. The way the brain works is that it's not meant to keep you happy or elevate you. It's meant to keep you safe. And safe is doing everything the way we do it now. So when somebody comes at you like me, who's crazy and has a big mouth and is like a mover and shaker, your brain is absolutely terrified of this person. It's like, stay in the cave. Don't do this. And it's going to start giving you these reasons of why you can't do it. And I want you to challenge yourself that if I want to become a master problem solver, if I don't want to have to change diapers anymore, I don't want to have to deal with my child pulling at my shirt anymore, and I want them to be able to communicate with me, I have to do something different. And that starts with thinking something different and believing that I can problem solve for anything, even the resources to join a program like this. If you're thinking I'm too busy, or I don't know if now's a good time, I always tell parents who say this to me, I'm like, either it's a priority that this gets done now, or you make a priority to find all the excuses that it can't happen now. And the choice is always in your hands. How do you want to show up? When is it going to be this? When is the priority going to be your baby? Either it's a priority to get this done, or it's a priority to have an excuse not to. You say, I need to think about it. Indecision is more dangerous than a wrong decision. I tell every family, when we get on a call, Let's make a decision tonight. Either we're working together or we're not. Because when you say in the, oh, should I or shouldn't I? Listen, there's a lot of things that Michelle said I really like, but you know what? I don't know. I'm just kind of scared. I don't know. What if I do this and I fail? Listen, there are no real fails. That we're either learning or they're winning. I can't tell you how many things I tried with Juliana that didn't work. If I talk to Armando's mom, I can't imagine all the things she tried that didn't work. But she doesn't see them as fails, and neither did I. I'm either learning or I'm winning. So either I make a decision that I'm going to go for it and be nervous, but I'm going to go for it. Or I'm going to say, you know what, this isn't for me. And I'm going to go find something else that is going to work for us. And being in decision of should I or shouldn't I is taking energy away from helping your baby now. I've failed so many times, or I've tried everything. How will this be different? What if you fail? The discomfort you fear experiencing, you're already living with it the way things are now with your child. Staying in fear is the reason your child is still in diapers. Staying in fear is the reason why your child is still eloping. Staying in fear is the reason why your child's not communicating. We're not failing anymore. Either we're learning or we're winning. And that's why my program works. We're always learning until we get it. And we never not get it because we never stop. The only true fail of an autism parent is quitting on their kids. So for tonight only, if you book into the program by midnight tonight, you get all those bonuses. And Jen's going to put the link in the chat box. And one thing I also want to talk about tonight is unicorn syndrome. I hear it every time. Juliana is different than my child. Juliana was diagnosed moderate to severe on the spectrum. My child has severe autism. Armando's mother was told he would never speak. This works for other kids, but it won't work for mine. My child's broken or I'm broken. There's nothing out there that will change the trajectory for my child. Unicorn syndrome is a self-preservation state. If I stay here, I never put myself out there to have these hopes and dreams for my baby. And when that doesn't happen, I can't be hurt. Subconsciously, I can't risk trying and failing because I won't survive it. Sitting in I don't know or asking shitty questions with no real answers keeps you stuck and not taking action to help your baby now. Indecision is keeping you second guessing and losing precious time that you could be making progress for your baby now. Nothing comes from an I don't know or a bullshit question you can't answer. Just decide. Decide you're not ready and you won't do the work, or decide you're nervous but you're willing to go for it. Give yourself the gift of a decision. Honor yourself and your child right now. If fears or worry are dominating your day and night, then join me. If there's something in you that identifies with what I've taught you today and it makes sense, take the leap of faith and join us. Saying yes will have you and your baby moving forward today. For tonight only, if you book into the program by midnight, 2 private sessions with me, 2 private sessions with Risa, 2 IEP or home or school advocacy meetings, and I will be there on Zoom every step of the way to hold your hand through it. And 5 months in the program instead of 3, and $500, but $500 off, but you have to join tonight at midnight. All bonuses go away after midnight. You want to click the link in the chat box to join. And I'm just going to take a quick pee break. We're going to show you a video and then I'll be back.
So I guess I wanted to start asking you, what were your biggest struggles prior to joining the program?
You know, I was going around and looking for organizations, I was looking for help.
So I started looking up online. I really need somebody who's been through.
There's no access to any kind of services over here in Ireland. Googling stuff and trying to find something. I joined because I had a 3-year-old autistic son. So I knew I had to do something that I didn't know what to do.
Everything seemed to be waitlisted or just not available. To break it down to him, I had to have somebody break it down to me.
And that really got me worried. It got my husband worried and thinking, okay, we need to speak their PD.
I think my biggest struggle was understanding their potential.
I actually didn't know, like I was kind of relying on just the speech therapist.
I came in just feeling very helpless, very confused.
What can I do now that I haven't already done? You know, what would be the harm? What can I lose?
Before participating, we weren't making as much progress. It was slow progress.
I believe that I found you on Instagram.
She is very turned off by a lot of doctors and therapists and things.
I went back and forth and I'm like, she's going to start ABA therapy on this day. And I told him that was my #1 goal.
As everyone would be, I was a little skeptical because of how many times I have tried with Alexander.
On one end, I'm hearing, okay, she's
artistic and, you qualify for a lot of services. And when I go and try to inquire about, we can't service her.
All right, so now, I guess, where are you now? You and your child, now that you've joined the program?
They're doing really, really well. Doing really, really well. I think their ABA program here is wonderful. We got very lucky with that.
One word here or there, what it was that he wanted, but not necessarily saying I want it would be apple or this or that. And that has totally blossomed. And now following like what the BCBA said, which is starting really small.
Okay, so where I am now is where I kind of know that I'm in charge.
The changes in him in less than 2 months, I think I've been like 6 weeks, miraculous. The behaviors are decreased. The stimming has decreased. The listening to directions has increased. The language has increased. I just, set those goals for myself and cross them off and once I did that for me, turn my focus 100% and then I was able to get the work done.
You helped me formulate the confidence in myself to realize I'm ready to really go for it. I would not have gotten through it. It went so much better than I ever could have imagined.
I started listening to tips from Michelle.
He's doing so much better. More eye contact for sure. We're working on talking, on saying some words.
Yeah, it went really well. Like the tips you guys gave me.
It doesn't seem like this big impossible thing.
I just been given something so precious.
And he's more verbal, right direction, and I'm so happy to be part of this group.
We never in a million years thought that it would happen this early.
He's making a lot more sounds. He's now at that point where he's no longer frustrated, since you and all of the teachers have given me all of the ideas and the strategies.
We all want our children to succeed, and it's just been wonderful.
Would you recommend our program to any moms or dads that are going through this right now?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I would definitely refer anyone to this. Yes, definitely. You guys need to do this program. It'll change you guys and your child's life tremendously.
100%. I do recommend that you learn something new.
I would definitely suggest to go through this program for at least first 4 to 6 months.
This program has allowed that, and I'm really grateful for that.
Take this course, do the one-on-ones, listen and absorb everything that this team has to offer.
You guys have a gift. And you're sharing it, and that's amazing.
So I will recommend you to anybody, whoever's out there.
It's been really great. It's been really great. And
this is going to help you. You can learn through other parents' experiences.
Just do it. Don't hold back. Just go all in with your daughter or your son, and I promise you will definitely see results.
All righty, so let's do some more coaching tonight. Who wants to go? Esther, you have raised your hand, so let's go. Hope you guys, I can't wait to meet our new families that have joined tonight. So exciting. Hi, Esther. Did I not do it? Promote to panelists. Oh, let me answer some questions. Somebody said this. How can I get my 7-year-old nonverbal daughter to sleep and stay asleep independently? I have to lay in the bed, pitch black room for hours with her feet touching me. That's her alarm, by the way, if you get up out of the bed, with her feet touching me and sneak out. She wakes up if I'm not there and won't go back to sleep until I'm back in the bed with her feet touching me. So I learned my sleep training technique from The Nanny. So I don't know if anybody ever watched it. It was a show on ABC years ago. It was like this British nanny. I guess she was almost supposed to be like a Mary Poppins. And I swore by this because my daughter was sleeping in the bed with us, and my son was about to come, or it was right after he came, and I'm like, this is crazy. She's in the bed, I'm in the bed, my husband's in the bed, the baby's in the bed next to I can't do this. So I remember trying to sleep train her, and my husband was like, I can't hear her crying, I just can't do it. So I'm like, okay. At that point in our life, he was an over-the-road trucker 2 nights a week, and I said, I'm going to do it when he's gone. And I made the decision, anonymous attendee who posted this, that I was sleep training her that night. And I, had a nice bedtime routine. I told her that bedtime was coming. I let her know. I had a little timer go off, like, all right, 5 more minutes, 3 more minutes, 1 more minute. Okay, it's time to go to bed, right? So I put her in the bed and I gave her a milk. She used to have milk before bed at that time. And as soon as the milk was done, she'd start crying. And then that's when she ends up in our bed. So I let her cry. And I went in there one time, I said, no, it's bedtime. You have to go back to bed. And then I just let her cry. And she kept crying and crying and crying. And then eventually I'm watching her on the monitor just to kind of see. And it's been 30 minutes, 40 minutes. And then all of a sudden she throws up all over herself. I'll never forget this. And I go in there and, she's like that really tough cry that's hard to see. You know what I mean? I was right about to white flag it. And I remember just thinking in my head, I'm like, something has to give. I can't keep doing this. The definition of insanity. She keeps coming in there. Nothing's going to change. And I cleaned her up. I cleaned the bed up and got her, new jammies and everything. And I put her back in the bed and she went bananas, started screaming again. I left the room and she screamed for maybe another 20 minutes. And then finally she went to bed. And listen, sometimes being a parent sucks, right? Sometimes we got to do the hard thing. And she just threw up. If any time I wanted to cave and give her like her way because I felt bad for her, it was then. But I knew it was because she got herself all upset and she just had that bile and she threw up. And I just knew in that moment, like, I'm not doing myself or her any favors if I keep repeating the same cycle and keep giving her a pass because she's got autism. And that's what I think a lot of us are doing here. So if we have a child that can get out of the bed, how you're going to do this is like, okay, it's time for bed. You're going to have a bedtime routine. You're going to let them know what's coming. You're going to let them know that they go to bed and they stay asleep in the morning. You can give them a little reward for it, right? But I'll tell you, for most kids, they're going to be so set on doing it the way that they've always done it, having the comfort of you being there, that we're going to have to give them some tough love. And sometimes that's a part of being a parent. We have to do some hard things. We have to teach them some hard things. And that's what this is about sometimes. So if you have a child, like we've had kids that come through the program that want to be sleep trained, had a child, he'll come out of the bed, tell mom, only you say it one time, it's time for bed, and you bring the child back. Then the child comes out again. Now you don't make eye contact, you don't talk to them, you don't even look at them, you just pick them up, keep putting them back in the bed. And this may go on for an hour. You got to understand, right? This has worked for them for many years. So they're really going to turn it up that night because they're like, wait a minute, what the fuck's going on here? I always get her to come sleep with me. I never have to go to bed alone. What's going on? I don't want to do this. Right? It's called an extinction burst where the behavior gets even worse before it gets better. And you have to just keep putting them back and keep putting them back and keep putting them back until really either they cry themselves to sleep or they eventually just give up. And it's only the first night is always going to be your hardest night. And then after that, progressively gets better very fast. And the reason why I love this, and I don't love torturing a child, that's not what I mean, is that when you're speaking the language of behavior, there is no room for misinterpretation. You know how people can say stuff, but they really mean something else, right? That is like too muddy for a child, especially our children on the spectrum. They need to know that what you say is what you mean. And if that's not how you show up for your child right now, that's when all of these problem behaviors start to bubble over, because you don't really say what you mean. You don't follow that up with the action. Then I know I can play with you a little bit. I'm almost like, if I always imagine a parent as like an electric fence and our kids are just testing each section to find the weaknesses. And if your weakness is idle threats and I never deliver, then I got to start delivering 100% of the time. So when I'm talking to my kids and I tell them, hey, it's time for bed, it's time for bed. There's no fucking misinterpretation of what that means, because I've shown up as an identity of somebody who does what they say every time, and that you need to comply if you're in my home. And being a parent sometimes means we got to teach the hard lessons. And this isn't just an autism thing. It's a parenting thing for all children. And sometimes I got to show up, and sometimes the lesson's going to suck, and that's okay. All right. All right, Esther, do you want coaching? Last call for coaching tonight. I'm going to promote her to pass one last time because her hand's up. If you can't come on, then don't put your hand down. You can put in the Q&A. In the meantime, I'll hit the Q&A. When he has peed or pooed in his boxer shorts, he's not bothered. When he soils himself, it's like he doesn't care. And this is an interesting one. I'll get parents who'll say this to me like, oh, my kid doesn't care if he pisses or shits his diaper. Well, why would he? Right? He doesn't understand what the value in going anywhere else. So why would he show an interest? Some kids don't like the way it feels, like, oh, this feels dirty and nasty. But if they're going in a pull-up is made to pull the moisture away. A underwear is meant to just be kind of hold you in place here. It's not meant to hold pee and poop. So that doesn't feel very comfortable. But even if there's some kids who run around in the boxers and pee and poop in them, and you're mystified, like, well, I just don't understand. They must not be ready because they don't care. Well, why would they care? Outside of maybe having a personal issue with not liking to be dirty, if they don't have an issue with being dirty and they like to play in the mud, then they ain't going to give a shit. We want to create an environment where they do give a shit. Okay? All right, let's take Karen here. Karen's a master classer. I love it. Got our master classers on tonight too. Karen, you there? Hi, Karen. How are you? You just got to unmute yourself. You there, Karen? While Karen's getting ready, I'm going to answer some more questions from the Q&A. Please, how can I control silly laughs? Sometimes my girls will just start laughing without reason. That sounds like a giggle stim. And if your child has a stim, those are one of the hardest things to redirect. But we can, I don't ever really intervene with stimming unless I see it disrupting quality of life. If it disrupts quality of life, then I want to look at it. And stimming is one of the hardest things to redirect because it's a sensory payout for the child that makes them feel good. Sometimes I'll nervous laugh or I'll laugh at my own jokes if I'm feeling like in an uncomfortable position. It's kind of like a stim. It helps. It's like a self-soothing technique for me, right? It's an excess energy release, right? So when this is happening, want to understand, is it a problem? Is it stopping her from learning important life skills? It's stopping her from communicating because her stim is a giggle. If it is, then we want to look at techniques to minimize it. So how would we do that without completely extinguishing it? What you'd want to do is you'd want to make sure that that you're creating a lot of structure in their day. I noticed Juliana will stim a lot more on days where I don't have any structure going on, where she kind of has a lot of free play. I don't mind it. Like after school, she'll tell me sometimes, all right, I'm going to go out to play. And really all she's doing is walking the perimeter of the yard, kind of like moving her hands. And I don't have an issue with that because that's her way of excess energy release, and she's learning and she's being an active part of her family and community. But if that wasn't happening, then I'd want to look at it and I'd provide more structure in her day. We provide more structure to this mom's baby, then we can see a better reaction. Oh, and I think I'm going to put Karen back to, all right, I'm going to mute Karen and I'm going to bring up Esther. She's the one who asked that question. Is that Esther? Yes, that was. Oh, Esther said that she didn't want to talk tonight, right? Okay. Last call for questions. I'll answer one more question in the chat. Karen is a master classer and she is a great grandma who joined the program, who has custody of her great grandbaby, and she has officially potty trained him. He's peed in the toilet again, and she's going to keep at it. I love that. Thank you for sharing your win. And Jessica, another master classer, how should I work with Aiden insisting on doing what he wants and wanting my attention when I'm in the middle of handling housework or something with his sister? And what I say to that is I want to do a first then. So basically, if I'm doing housework and I want, if he's insisting that he wants to do what he wants to do, and he's trying to get your attention, we do a first then. So first mommy has to clean, and then we can do this. A lot of the times they'll do this because they don't really know when you're going to stop doing what you're doing and they want to do something fun. So we can also, come up with strategies of how we can kind of keep him occupied until you're available to do the thing with him. But if we're just kind of assuming how do I just stop this behavior? You have to understand the function of it so that we can create the solve. So the function of it is that he wants your attention. We don't want to give it, if she's done this in the past where she's cleaning and he keeps bothering her and then finally she just stops cleaning and gives him the attention, she's reinforced the behavior. So what we want to do in an attention seeking, and if attention seeking is the payout, we want to obviously not give attention for the behaviors that we don't want. We have to kind of ignore it, even if it's a little uncomfortable. And then once he's simmered down, or I always look at attention seeking behavior as them telling us through behavior they want more of your attention. When they're doing things right, we want to pile on a lot of great attention at that point. All right, perfect. Well, I think that's it for the masterclass tonight. This was lots of fun. Our open coaching call is a wrap. Listen, if you liked what you saw tonight, If you like the coaching, this is what I do week after week. This is what my mindset coach does with you guys. This is what our BCBAs do. We want you to invite you into the program. If you join tonight by midnight, you're going to get all those bonuses. I've never offered that IEP bonus. I'm excited to partake in this. I've done it for my like one-on-one clients. I've never done it for my group. I'd love to do that and offer it to you. If you join by midnight tonight, you're going to get that as well as all the other goodies. Love to have you. It was fun, everybody. Talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.